Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Katie. As you probably know, um, I wanted to provide you with an overview of the workflow and process mapping assignment. Um, this is a pretty large assignment, and so I wanted to just make sure that you all know that this is going to take you some time and uh, is definitely something that you want to get done sooner rather than later, and definitely not leave it till the night before it's due, or I should say the day that it is due. Um, so I'll dig right in here. What you're seeing here is the assignment instructions. Um, I'm not going to read the scenario, but the scenario might seem a little bit familiar to you because we used a very condensed version of it in the discussion forum on SMART goals. And so just kind of a heads up that, you might want to look back at my feedback or the comments of others or other classmates' goal in regards to this and just kind of see what you think. But anyways, here's the scenario. Like I said, I'm not going to read that all to you. Here is the current medication administration workflow as developed by 5 nurses at this organization. So you're going to be charged with, as the HIM director and project manager for this assignment, or for this organization, and for this assignment, you're going to implement a barcode medication administration record software application, and then redesign the MedPass or the barcode medication administration process, okay? And so just looking at this, this is kind of an exercise in itself. As we get down farther, you'll see kind of why we have this here, okay? And so as we look at process, workflow redesign and analysis and things, it's important to understand the way things were and understand the goals of the project, the intent of the software, and how we can, make this system work for us and not the opposite. Okay. All right. Okay, so for this scenario provided above, the first thing that you want to do is you want to read the chapters that were assigned in Margaret A's textbook. I believe for this chapter, for this unit, you were assigned chapter 5, but you'll want to probably refresh your memory a bit with 3, 4, and 14. Okay, we want you to familiarize yourself with current paper and manual medication administration process with that process, and we have that documented above. So that process for the organization. Then we want you to research barcode medication administration record systems to understand how that technology works within an EHR, who are some of the key stakeholders that different organizations have engaged in order to implement these systems, the workflow surrounding the technology, the impact of this technology on patient safety and quality of care. And here I have a few references listed, okay? And then lastly, here in preparation for the assignment, think about what kind of software application you want to use to create a redesigned workflow, okay? Because that's one of the end products or deliverables that I'll be looking for in this assignment. And so, you can use Word, you can use PowerPoint, but I'll be honest with you, they don't, those workflows don't come out as nice. You're going to be creating a swim lane diagram. And so one application that I found that has been extremely user-friendly for our students is called Kaku. You can actually log into it with your CSS email core account because we're a Google organization, and so you can just use that. The only thing is that Kaku, once you have the diagram developed, the export is a PNG file, and that is not conducive to, for us to view it and things like that. And so make sure you read the instructions that I provided in the Kaku user guide that is in Blackboard, and familiarize yourself with that. So if you're not using Kaku, ignore everything I just said. And, if you're using Lucidchart or some other type of software to develop your swim lane diagram, that is just fine. The only thing I ask is that you put it in a format or in a file type that I can open and the rest of your classmates can open. You're pretty safe with Word, and you're pretty safe with a PDF. okay? So just think about that. All right, so let's dive into the actual report and things I want you to develop. Okay, so the first thing that you need to do is you need to critique the flow chart above. Okay, so is that flow chart the manual process and an appropriate level of detail to be useful in redesigning the workflow for the new automation? Are there any obvious steps that may have been omitted? Okay. Then what I want you to do is consider how you might redesign the workflow for this new BCMAR application, okay? So in Margaret A's textbook on page 153, there's a list of different opportunities for improvement. Some things that are pretty common that are found when looking at workflow and process redesign, okay? And so here I've then transferred that list onto this assignment. And so I am not looking for you to identify every single one of these in that workflow. That is not what I want. What I want you to do is find a couple of them, 2 to 3, okay? And then explain, why it's an opportunity for improvement, um, and, or sorry, I just want to make sure I got this, and explain why it is an opportunity, okay? And so, like, what are you seeing? So tell me what you're seeing and why it is an opportunity. All right. Then take a look at the information on change management in Margaret A's textbook. And then you're going to develop a more comprehensive plan to engage stakeholders. Okay, so in this last week's assignment, many of you provided, in your vendor analysis assignment, you provided kind of a high level in terms of how are you going to conduct a functional needs assessment, right? And so this is very similar in terms of how are you going to engage the key stakeholders. And so here I'm looking for specifics, okay? What types of methods are you going to use to engage those key stakeholders, all right? And so I've given you several things that I want that plan to address, okay? And I have some notes here. So the second sentence there under 3A, it says the healthit.gov website has some great resources on stakeholder involvement. And I also want to mention Stratus Health. It's STRATIS, and they are the um, quality improvement organization for the state of Minnesota, and I believe maybe now a couple other states. But anyways, back when EHRs were getting implemented all over the place, they came up with a lot of great resources for organizations to use, okay? And so you can kind of play around with their website and drill down into that, okay? All right, next, also I have a note here about maybe considering how data analytics um, can improve patient safety and potentially quality of care. Um, and so, using that data analytics from the information in the barcode medication administration system to, you can maybe explore that and use that as a way to engage stakeholders and gain buy-in. Okay. All right, that was kind of a long tangent. Sorry about that. So let's, so diving in here, your plan. Your plan needs to, one, identify the organization roles and employees that would be included in the BCMAR implementation team, so your stakeholders, right? And then for each of those roles, explain why you would include them on the team. So if you're, say, you want the nurse manager, okay, what are they going to bring to the table? How can they help the team be successful? You're going to develop a section within your plan where you specifically identify the benefits of BCMAR and the data analytics functionality capabilities that come with its implementation. And you need to make a case that you will use to engage those stakeholders, right? Consider all the stakeholder roles and what is important to each of them. Okay, so if you're a nurse, what is the most important thing for you when you're passing a med and performing the medication administration? Okay, um, also describe the process you will take to engage those individuals in the process, the team. Okay, include a minimum of 4 methods that you will use to engage those stakeholders and keep them engaged. Okay, make sure that you're supporting all of the information that you include in these sections, you know, with research or with information from Margaret A's text. Include in-text citations, okay? Be specific here. How are you specifically going to engage them? What are the best practices for stakeholder engagement when implementing an electronic health record system or components of an electronic health record system, okay? Then you're going to develop a project goal for the implementation of the BCMAR system based on the SMART concept. So I'm not going to repeat what I said earlier, but I think you all know. Then I want you to draw a redesign workflow for the use of BCMAR, the BCMAR application, okay? I want it to be in the form of a swim lane diagram. You can use Kaku, you don't have to, but that is the format that I wanted in. And remember, this is to work with the new system. So not just redesigning the old to make it, to get rid of the bottlenecks or get rid of, you know, those kinds of things. This is a brand new swim lane diagram that is going to show their new process for BCMAR and passing a med, okay? So who are those key stakeholders involved with that? And I want those identified in that swim lane, okay? All right. Then lastly, once you have it all redesigned, okay, you're going to provide a summary of the challenges you believe will need to be overcome when implementing the BCMAR system at this critical access hospital. And so how will you address those challenges? So technical challenges, functional challenges, interoperability, communication issues across all stakeholders. And please refer back to the Margaret A text. I think this is going to help you with this section, okay? And of course, provide a reference list. Make sure that if you have an in-text citation, you have a citation on your reference list and vice versa, okay? Once you have your swim lane diagram developed, you want to post it to the discussion board as a Word document or PDF, okay? And then you're going to submit your report and your Kaku swim lane diagram for grading, okay? Now, please note that you don't have to have your report done at the same time as your swim lane diagram, okay? The swim lane diagram is actually due on July 23rd in the discussion board. Okay, so you need that finalized by the 23rd. You don't have to have your report completely finalized until the 26th because that's when that is due. Okay, but still within the assignment submission area for this entire assignment, I want you to also include your workflow diagram along with that report. Okay. All right, I think that this has gotten long enough. I'm not going to keep you here. The rest of the document talks about the specific deliverables, and so make sure you check that out. That'll kind of lay everything out for you. The only other thing I want to mention is that this is a big assignment, and if you want to work with your partner, you are more than, you know, I'm fine, completely fine with that. Okay. Just make sure that you guys are communicating well. If you make that decision, stay with that decision and commit to that decision and be completely engaged and responsive to one another, okay? There's nothing worse than having a partner that's not engaged and supporting you and pulling their weight, okay? So that's all I ask. And then if that is the case, please email me and let me know. And so you can post one initial, like you can post your workflow diagram as a post for both of you, and then you would just do your response posts on your own. But then the assignment submission in Blackboard, I would have you each submit your report and the Kaku swim lane diagram, okay? You will get the same grade for that assignment or that submission, okay? All right, I'm sorry, I probably spoke way too fast. This is my favorite assignment because I love workflow analysis and redesign. And so I look forward to seeing what you all come up with. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out, okay? All right, have a great day.